Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, have you ever been a victim of an attack? And if so, were you able to defend yourself? On tonight's show, we'll be talking about self-defense. Now, whether you've ever been attacked or not, the harsh reality is that it can happen to absolutely anyone and when we least expect it as well. My guests tonight are Frederick Silva-Pontes, who's an ex-gang member, and also we have Reece and Laurence Hamilton from the Combat Academy, and Ilham Mohammed, who's been trained by them. So they'll be showing us some self-defense moves later on and telling us about self-defense with a twist. And also we have Lisa Marie, who's going to be talking about celebs who've been victimised at some point. But this is your show as well, so if you want to take part, if you want to maybe tell us what's happened to you and whether you know how to defend yourself, you can give us a call on 020-7686-6300, and you can also email us on chris@chrissybshow.tv, and also Facebook, because we've got a few comments to read from Facebook as well, and it's The Chrissy B Show. But let's say hello to Lisa first. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you ready to do some moves later?
Oh yeah, don't worry, I love all this kind of stuff.
do you?
So yeah, I'm up for it. Well up for it. Got
But it might not be what you're expecting.
Anything like that.
Because it's not your normal self-defense.
Anything like that. I like sparring with my dad as well.
Oh,
so I love it. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about the comments. We've had a few on Facebook, and we asked the question if people have been attacked and whether they froze or whether they were able to do something. What did they say?
So I have one from Serena who says, I was mugged 4 years ago. I was walking down the street on my then new mobile phone talking to my mum. Two young boys were on a bike and they were riding behind me. All of a sudden they sped up and the one on the back of the bike grabbed the phone out of my hand. It was a scary experience and I was shaken up. But it all turned out well in the end because the boy who mugged me handed my phone into the police station 1 week later, so she was very lucky.
I don't know why I'm saying, I should have done it in the first place, but it's just unusual for you, must have felt guilty.
And that's quite a common one. I mean,
some people have a conscience.
A few people I know that's happened when they've come out of work and they've just innocently checking their phone as they do. Someone's just sped past them and they're gone because they're on a bike, so there's no way you're going to catch up with them.
Okay, we've got someone else there as well.
Yeah, I've got another comment from Serena. And she says, I have never been mugged or confronted to be mugged, but also not sure if I would do anything but freeze if they approach me. We always assume that we know what to do, but when it actually happens, it's another thing. But I don't know any techniques that would stop them, so then it would make the matters worse. So she'll definitely be watching tonight. So hi, Serena.
Okay, that's nice. So she'll be getting some tips tonight. Well, tell us about the celebs as well, Lisa.
Yeah, this. Obviously we know more about it now with the rise of social media, but there's a few celebs who quite recently have been attacked, robbed and things like that. I mean, Naomi Campbell, it only came out quite recently, but she was attacked and robbed in Paris, and there was pictures of her in a wheelchair with like her leg raised and stuff like that, because apparently she got damaged quite seriously. Sorry, hurt quite seriously, damaged. Apparently she believes that the person was watching her, casing her out and waiting for a moment to strike her. She was alone. Was she robbed or was she just attacked? Both. So she was pushed as they stole whatever it was that they wanted from her, a bag or something.
Didn't they know who she was? And they all like...
Well, they probably did it on purpose because then they would know that the likelihood of, like, if you or me got robbed and we had a watch on, it's probably, you know, maybe, what, £200 maximum. But for someone like her, you're talking thousands just of one watch. True. So they know that one lucky chance and they've got somebody. Lulu, quite recently, she was at a cash machine in London, as we all visit cash machines, and she was trying to withdraw some money from the machine. Someone came up behind her, was distracting her, and then was saying to her, you know, oh, no, there's nothing in this one. You're gonna have to use the one around the corner, and trying to make her look as they were pointing. While she was looking and distracted, they took her card and then ran.
So you just expect people to be well-meaning, don't you? You don't expect that. So
it is,
obviously you're going to be caught off guard.
It's because she was just distracted. I think this is one of the key things that a lot of like street muggers and opportunists use nowadays, is that they take an opportunity to distract you. You know, throw so many things about so that you're not thinking actually about what you're doing. So then, and this was well organised because apparently, as she obviously told people, you know, made a scene, he's stolen my card, but he actually ran down the road and into a car, so it was obviously well planned. They'd apparently done something to the ATM beforehand so that it wouldn't take people's cards, and then gone with her card. And one that was, it's really terrible. It's happened in 2009. Katie Piper. She was a former model and television presenter. And she was actually attacked by her then boyfriend. And he threw acid in her face. And
I thought you paid someone to do it, didn't you?
Yes, an accomplice. Yeah, he paid an accomplice to throw acid in her face. And she ended up having to, well, she was blinded in one eye. She ended up having to have like all the skin off her face removed and have a lot of painful skin grafts. But instead of choosing to remain anonymous, she actually came forward so that other people would know about what she's been through and to help anyone else who's gone through something similar. And now, I mean, she's got the Katie Piper Foundation. She's helping so many people. She's really
she's really turned her life around, hasn't she?
Definitely.
I mean, with something like that, can you really prepare? I mean, that's something I'd really love to ask our guests later on, Lisa, because it's like she probably didn't even see it coming.
No.
But, you know, maybe what could she have done in that sense to, you know, to avoid that? But I'd really love to hear from our experts later.
Indeed.
You'll be telling us, won't you, guys? All right, and a couple more comments we have, don't we, from Facebook?
Yeah.
People.
I have another one from Cherie, and she says, I was beaten up very badly by a group of girls when I was a teenager. I froze, and so did my friend who witnessed it. I knew who they were, and they were arrested. It went to court without anyone informing us, and they were let off with a smack on the wrist. I, however, had to walk past their house every day to go to school to do my exams and was traumatised while they were proud of what they had done.
Oh, that's awful.
It is terrible.
So and it's not just the attack itself, it's what happens afterwards, the sort of psychological effects that happen.
And obviously, for her, she was set upon by a group of girls, so quite hard for her to defend herself anyway. And I have one more comment from Asha. And she says, I was mugged by a group of 3 youths who looked smart when I came off the bus. They were walking towards me, then they pushed me and took my bag and ran. But I ran after them without realising they could do worse. In that moment, all I wanted was my bag. I had my mobile in my coat, then I called the police. They came within 6 minutes. We never found them in the area. They vanished somewhere in a council block. When this happened, it was about 8 p.m, and many people were passing by and not even one person stopped, though I shouted, help, thief.
That's awful. So she didn't freeze, she actually went after them. That's another, I think that's quite an unusual reaction.
It depends though, because I used to work in retail, and I remember there was once a guy who literally ran in the shop, grabbed a whole load of clothes off a rail and ran straight back out again. And my first instinct was to run after him.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I got my clothes back. Did you get I created enough fuss, he dropped them and ran off, so I got my clothes back.
But what would you have done if you'd actually caught up with him?
Exactly, because my mum would have killed me, as she said when she found out what I did anyway, so...
Oh, well, well, let's find out what maybe the correct thing to do is later on. Thanks, Lisa, and we'll be reading more comments later. Yeah. And to my right, I have the young Frederick. How are you doing?
I am good.
Now, you used to be an ex-gang member, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you're obviously these things that you're hearing now sounds very familiar because you used to do these things to people. But can I just say he's a reformed character. He's not doing these things anymore. What are you doing with your life at the moment?
Me, I'm currently studying.
You're studying, yeah? You're studying at uni?
No, I'm at college studying.
At college, okay. So you see, he has turned his life around before we get any phone calls from people like angry. So tell us what used to happen. We've got a couple of minutes before the break. So how did you get into that kind of lifestyle in the first place?
So before I started doing the robberies, the mugging and all that, first it happened to me. And when it happened to me, I was really young. I was about 14. And it was a group of guys, me and my friends, we went out to watch football, and when we were coming back from the football stadium, there was a group of guys. We didn't know they were from a gang or wherever, but in that moment where they came, they approached us to rob us with knives, with weapons and so on. A couple of my friends, they ran off, they had the opportunity to run off.
That must have been terrifying.
Terrifying, and I was left there by myself. I could remember one of them holding me, and I couldn't run off, and he was holding me, and he went to my pocket, and he was really putting all his effort in to take away my phone. I knew where my phone was, and his hands were there, and not actually trying to take. At the time, the phone that I had was £200 worth, so I didn't want to lose that for nothing, and so I was resisting, and because there was a lot of them, and they were threatening me and so on, so.
Please, if someone's trying to take your phone, just let them have it. It's not worth it. Oh my gosh, you could have been stabbed.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't want to seem weak or anything like that, even though my friends had run off, but I let go afterwards. And when that happened, I found out that later on, they were from a gang, and me at that time, I lived in an area where it was also a gang, but where they had a conflict with that area, but I wasn't really involved.
So
you
weren't in a gang at that point. You were just minding your own business. But then afterwards,
yeah, because that happened to me.
Yeah,
then
things changed.
completely.
So we're going to be hearing more about that after the break, because we're going to go to a quick one now. But if you want to get involved, you want to email, you can do so on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show. Always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we meet our guests from the Combat Academy, let's take a look at this.
Okay, how have you found today?
Really hard, yeah. Like,
Why? What's been tough about it?
just having to like mentally switch on and just push through all your barriers and just having to push your body to keep you to the limit and just not giving up.
Has it been frightening at all?
It's been like, yeah, it's like you don't know what's going to happen, what's coming. So
Did you get pillowcased?
yeah, that was
How was that?
was really disorientating. So
Okay.
sort of throws you off a bit. It's not like anything else.
Okay. What's your favourite technique? Have you got a favourite technique in your head?
Probably did the rear choke.
Rear choke. You like the rear naked choke? Okay. Rear naked choke. Okay. Rear choke, heavy water. I want you to keep that in your head. Okay. I want a rear choke from you, Tiny. I want a rear choke. A rear choke. Okay. Back away from the concrete. Good. Come on. Come on. Get the choke on. Come on, Tiny.
Yeah, stop.
Okay, he's tapping. Okay, release. Well done, Tiny. Release. You can see you're covered in George's blood. Okay, go on, do him. Okay, Tiny, I want you to think of the cage system now. You've got to escape from this encounter. Escape from it. Don't look round, you lot. Escape. Come on, you've got to escape, boy. Come on, Tiny. Come on. Get out of there. Run.
Well. Let's welcome now Reece and Laurence from the Combat Academy, and also we have Ilham, who's been trained by them, right? Yes. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is quite a very, very important topic that we're talking about today, because what we learn here and what people learn when they come to you both is, they can save their lives, basically.
Absolutely.
Now, hearing Frederick's story, what did you think of, how he got into it in the first place? Is that something quite common, would you say?
To be honest, yes, it is. And we have a lot of people that come to our academy that are naughty young boys, shall we say. We do a lot of work with the Youth Offending Service, and they send these young men to us so that we can show them that you can still be edgy, you can still be tough, but you can be socially responsible. You don't have to go and mug people. You don't have to swear. You don't have to, you don't have to do all those things that typically we all thought were cool when we were young.
I mean, you were just 14 when it happened, so like you said, you were terrified when that happened. I can understand, not that it's right, but I can understand why you would get into maybe that kind of life, because you wanted to know how to defend yourself. But if you'd known about something like this, obviously that would have been great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been different.
But tell us a bit about some of the stuff that you got into just before we speak to I guess, a bit more.
So after that happened to me, there was a lot of influence in school as time was going by, and also in the area that I lived in, because the area that I lived in, like I said before, was a well-known gang area. So influence was happening at school. Me and my friends, we used to bunk off classes. We used to steal people's wallets in school, in classes. We'll go underneath tables, go in girls' purses, anyone's purse and so on.
So you weren't actually attacking anyone at that point?
We weren't attacking no one at the moment, at a point,
people's.
But we were taking people's possession and so on. This came about because me personally, myself, I needed money, because at home I wasn't getting the money to buy the things that I wanted to buy outside, like my friends were getting and so on. So we started robbing in school, and then things progressed outside when we joined into a gang. And when we joined into a gang, things got even worse. There was tests in the gang. There was different kind of things. Tests like to go out and to rob people. And so the mugging came about. We used to go out and kick people off their bikes, normal people, like even adults, kick them off the bike. We used to rob pizza-mans for their moped. We used to rob people on the street, people that we didn't recognize that will come from a different area, and we'll see them in the area straight away. We'll approach them and ask them what area you're from and so on, with weapons and so on, and then we'll rob them. We'll go out of our area, far places, to do robberies. And so
was there any particular sort of type of person that you would go for? Was it like, would you sort of spot someone and say, look, that person looks quite vulnerable, like they wouldn't know how to defend themselves, or would you just go for anyone?
At times there will be a lot of us in a group, so it wouldn't matter if the person was big or how they were. We'll go and attack them. But other times where it would be two of us, me and someone else, we'll go for someone that we see that was a bit weak, that we see, I don't know, it's just by their appearance basically. So we'll look at their appearance and see that this person is different. So we'll go and get them. Easy target basically.
Elam over here, she's petite, slim and petite, aren't you? So, but are you quite confident that you can defend yourself now after you've been to the...
I'm a lot better than I was about a few weeks ago, I think. I feel a little bit more comfortable, so I feel a little bit secure, because I can at least do something now. I'm not at the stage where I can defend fully myself, but I'm a lot better than I was before.
How long have you been doing the...
I think we've had about 5 sessions so far. I think.
And already you feel quite confident?
Yeah, definitely. I think after first, second one, you feel a lot more secure. You're able to defend yourself, and you know your surroundings as well, so you're aware of everything.
All right. And can anyone come to your classes? Anyone?
Absolutely, anybody. Any shape, size, age, gender, anybody.
All right. Now I want to delve into more about what you do, because it's not like the normal self-defense, which we're going to talk about sort of a bit later on, because you guys are going to be quite impressed, because I was. But tell us a bit more, Frederick, before we move on. What was the worst thing you've done?
The worst thing. The worst thing was when we went out, and of course I've been arrested for the robberies that I took part in, and the worst thing. Not going to have
any police knocking on the studio door, right? Because this has all been dealt with.
Yeah, it's all been dealt with. I've been arrested for the robberies that I got involved in. So the worst thing was just the way that we will approach people at knife point. They didn't do nothing wrong. They were just innocent people walking by and so on. And there was even times where I had compassion for the people, and
did you feel guilty? Right?
Indeed. So when I'll go home, I'll have fear. I had a lot of depression at home because of how my family was. I'll cry at home and so on. A lot of things will happen inside of me. But when I go out, I'll always show to my friends that as a tough guy, one that will lead things. There will even be times where I had compassion for the people, because I know how my life was. I know how I was inside. And to doing that for them, I'll tell my friends sometimes, oh, leave them, don't do that. But then I'll find myself the next time being the first one again to start everything in mugging the person.
It's kind of nice, not that it makes it better, but it's kind of nice to hear sort of from a point of view of someone that does or used to attack people, because most people aren't evil. There's normally something going on, you know, at home, or that's led them to kind of, you know, get into that lifestyle. Not, as I was saying, it's not that it's any excuse, because there are lots of sort of organisations that can help if you are going through problems at home. There are places you can go to, you can talk to people, but it's kind of nice to see sort of the human side, if I can say. Yeah. So, but you obviously stopped all that. How did you get help to stop that?
Like you said, there is a lot of organisation, and if I had known that before, then I wouldn't have gone in that path. So it was when I came and I found a youth centre, which is located in a borough that I lived in, and a lot of other boroughs as well. And so I came about to the youth centre, and going there, there was a lot of mentors there that were able to sit down with me and speak to me, show me the right path, show me the right direction to go about influences, wrong crowd, negative friends, all different things that were going on around me. So having listened to them and putting into practice what they were telling me, I was able to see changes gradually in myself, and I was able to let go of the wrong crowd, the bad friends, and started going there to the youth centre more and more, because it's on 2 days a week, and I used to go there. I started going there all the time, hearing and taking part in the activities that they do. The activity that they do helped me a lot to keep me busy, to doing positive things, and they helped me a lot to change.
What would you say to young people now that are like in that lifestyle now, and they feel like they have to go and attack people and mug people and all that stuff, and they think it's cool because their friends are doing it? What would you say to them?
The thing about some young people is that they don't have role models and right direction to go about, and some of them are bored, so they follow just any crowd basically. What I would say to them is that they need to look at themselves. They need to look at their family and see what is causing to their family. Because me personally, it was bringing a lot of stress to my mum, me getting arrested and all different things. So there was times she had sleepless nights, just worrying about me where I would be late night and so on. And so they need to think about their family, need to think about their future, and look at themselves. Are they following the crowd or are they being themselves?
Okay, so that's great. Now, Laurence, obviously you're hearing this young man's story. You get young people coming to you. So how does it feel when you kind of like retrain their minds in a way, like to think differently about what they've been doing?
Yeah, the rewards we get through it are immense. You see guys coming to us, same story as Frederick there. You know, they're young, very confident, very cocky. They don't seem to have a lot of respect for, you know, other people's property, other people's feelings, things like that. But as Frederick said, a lot of it stems from home, past problems, things like that. If we can tap into their mind, it's not just the physical side of it. We tap into people's minds as well. When we tap into their mind, find out what's causing it. We're not just guys that teach physical stuff. We'll mentor them, you know, mentally as well. Get into their mind, help them. If they've, I mean, we're on the end of the phone all the time for the guys that come to us. It's not just maybe 1-2 hours a week, something like that, and they don't hear from us. We make friends doing it. Like every single person that comes to us then becomes a friend, and we're on the end of the phone 24/7 for those guys if they need any help. Yeah, so we always make sure that they've got support there as well. It's not just a case of throwing money at us and we'll devote an hour of our time a week to them. You know, it's not about that at all. You actually care
about what you're doing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is great. Okay. All right, we're going to be finding out much more about it after the break. So if you want to get involved as well, you can give us a call on 020 7686 6300. Frederick, thank you so much for sharing your story, and good luck with your studies and everything. Thank you. And I'm sure you're going to be a positive influence. I know you already are actually, because you help out with the youth group as well, don't you? So that's great. So join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and if you can see, we've moved the table because very soon we're going to be showing us some self-defense moves.
Anything could happen.
All right, I'm a bit worried, but there's a nice area here, so we're going to be seeing that shortly. So first of all, tell us a bit more about Combat Academy and why it's different from other self-defense classes.
Well, my background, when I left school, I was lucky enough to be sponsored as a professional athlete, a professional fighter.
Oh, you've got quite a few things here. I've got ex-military, martial arts for 25 years, ex-professional fighter, professional bodyguard, and security consultant.
Absolutely. I was very physical when I was at school and got into a bit of trouble, and it was actually the fighting that got me out of it. I was just naturally inclined to want to use my fists, and of course that channeled it into the right direction. And so that led me into martial arts. When I got injured and I lost my sponsor, I decided I needed a proper job, so I went into the military, which was great. That worked very, very well for me on the physical level and everything that the military is, you know, the discipline. And then when I came out of the military, the two kind of gelled together into the Combat Academy, i.e. the martial arts side of things and the military influence. And I started as a civilian coming out. I started working as a bouncer on the doors, started doing close protection work or bodyguard work. And what I realised was everything I'd learned about professional fighting in the ring where there are rules, and everything I'd learned with traditional martial arts, jumping around in those angry white pyjamas with the black belt, doesn't actually work in the street situation. You know, in the martial arts world, you put your fist here and you block like this, and everybody waits for you to get your move on, and it all looks great for demonstrations. But in the harsh reality of a brutal, sustained attack, it doesn't work, and it all goes to pieces. So yeah, that's how the Combat Academy has come about and been born.
So what kind of things do you teach them? What do you do?
It's reality-based self-defense. So we spend a lot of time coaching the mind, because when you're the subject of an attack, it all fails at a mental level. Suddenly you are terrified. You get a massive adrenaline dump. Your legs shake. All your advanced motor functions just go out the window. You're now in a primal state of ready to run or potentially fight. So those higher functions just go out the window. So if you're basing your techniques on intricate moves and advanced techniques, they're all going to go out the window. You have to work on basic instinctive techniques, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you're going to be showing us some moves shortly. Yep. But Laurence, can you just tell us how you got involved as well before we get into a few questions as well?
Yeah.
Let me just read. So you're ex-military as well?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Yeah.
Martial arts for 20 years.
24.
24?
Close enough, yeah.
Naughty producers. And security in some of Glasgow's toughest doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that must be fun.
Things, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I started doing karate when I was 7 years old. I still train now, so that's my 24 years of martial arts experience.
Okay.
When I was 18, a couple of guys in my class approached me to see if I wanted to start doing door work over the Christmas and New Year period to make a bit of extra money. So I jumped at the chance, thinking, having done karate for 11 years at the time, that I could handle myself in a real life situation. Doing the doors in Glasgow quickly taught me that I couldn't, not in a real life situation. I was good at competitions at martial arts, very, very good, but in a real life situation, you're not, the guys aren't going to come at you with perfect kicks, perfect punches. You know, they're going to come at you with anything they've got, which is windmilling in, that old favourite, you know, keys in between the knuckles, knives, smashed bottles, bricks off the street, anything at all. I say, and karate's awesome for what it is. I mean, I really into the discipline side of it and learning about this, you know, the traditional side of the martial arts. But unfortunately, as I said, it doesn't make it quite effective in the real world.
All right. Well, we have got a couple of questions from our viewers. Lisa, can you
yeah. One question is, if someone tries to abduct you and make you get into a car, what should you do?
Okay, very, very good question. And under no circumstances should you go with them. That sort of attack, i.e. an abduction, is somebody that is trying to get you out of where you are into where they want you to be, and they will not have any good intentions. A robbery is very different. If someone's trying to steal your phone, let them have it. Protect my bubble. Let them have it. Do you know what I mean? Your phone can be insured. Your life is precious. So if it's an attack motivated by money, that's the best attack that you can have, as strange as that sounds, because they want something from you. If it's an attack that's motivated by a buzz, i.e. you've got 3 or 4 lads, they might want to give you a damn good kicking before they take your wallet as part of the buzz, part of a gang initiation. If it's an abduction, then it could be a sick psychopath, it could be somebody that is a sexual predator, but it is a predator of some kind. So if you go with them, you know, then...
So even if they've got a knife pointed at you, then you do everything you could to get out of the situation?
Exactly, because they're going to do worse than have that knife on you when they get you where they want you to go. So you need to make as much noise as possible, break away from them, but at the same time protect yourself from that knife, from doing you any damage other than perhaps cutting your hands or cutting your arms. You know, you it's not the movies. You're not going to do these amazing flowery techniques and disarm 10 people. You are going to potentially get cut. You are going to get hurt. But if you can survive, that's what it's all about. And that's the harsh reality of the real world. Very good question.
Have you got into any of that yet, Ilham? Like, sort of...
No, I'm not at that stage at the
moment. Okay, you're going to get...
We're still training her mind.
Oh, you're still on the mind part? Okay, how's that going?
Exactly. It's going well, actually, so far. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I've got one more question for you. And it's, if someone is following you and you are in an area with no shops or houses, what should you do?
Okay, the natural thing to do, and this sounds like I'm avoiding the question, I'm not, but is to get as quickly as you possibly can to a position where you are being seen by people. If you're not and if you can't, then actually pretend you're talking to someone on your phone, because actually that brings a second person into it, and if you can make a phone call, great.
It's a really good tip, that is.
If they're not, pretend you're talking to someone on the phone. If you really suspect you're being followed, then say something that's completely off the wall, like, I've got some idiot following me, he has no idea I'm a policewoman. because little things like that, they will not be expecting. It plants a little seed of doubt in their mind. They're a predator at the end of the day, and they are selecting you because you look like prey. Whatever it is, just like nature, just like in the wild, you watch these nature programs, the prey is selected because it's old, weak, young, or isolated. So if you're any one of those things, you look like prey. If you start to not behave like prey, it's like the little warthog that turns around and fronts up to the lion. Suddenly the lion is like, okay, that's not what I was expecting. I think I'm going to do one.
So act sort of confident.
Absolutely. Blasé, turn round. What you don't want to do is crouch in on yourself and start to look nervous, and your little footsteps, end up clip, 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 and you're scared. Literally just become big, become confident, get on your phone, say there's some muppet, following you and he doesn't know you're a policewoman. That's how you disrupt the predator when he's still doing that eye stalk bit. If the predator gets to that kill stage, then you've got a fight on your hands, and that's when you really do need to be able to fight your way out of it, and that's when the techniques come in.
All right, great. Now, with myself, for example, I would tend to freeze in certain situations. I had 2 incidences on the tube. It was quite busy, and like these 2 different situations completely where both men did something very indecent, and I just froze, and I didn't know what to do, even though there were other people around, but people don't tend to do anything sometimes, which is so. But then, for example, there was an incident where I was on the bus and I saw a guy mugging or pickpocketing an old woman's phone, and immediately I reacted, and I got up and I went up to him and I went up to the bus driver and caused the scene, and then without even thinking about it, and then he was sort of threatening me like he was going to cut my throat and all sorts of things. So, and my husband was really angry with me that I did that, but it was just a reaction. I didn't sort of. But I'm thinking, why can't I react if something happens to me, but I can react when it's someone else?
It's all about instincts, and if you think about human beings, we have become very civilized, very politically correct, very pink and fluffy, very protected. So, our brain, we're away from nature now, so our brain, it searches for a learned response or a pre-programmed response. If it can't find a learned response, you freeze. So if you haven't constantly been in that attack situation and reacted with force, your brain won't have learned that. However, there are certain reactions that are pre-programmed in, and women in particular have incredibly protective instincts, maternal instincts, whether that's a helpless baby, a helpless person, an old person. So if you see them getting attacked, it's more common for women to suddenly get very, or you see like a gang of lads stamping on some poor lad, that suddenly your brain relates to that as being someone's little boy. You always see it's the women that pull people off. Typically the guys are like,
isn't it? Wow.
But if you study that, go girls, go girls. But that's because it's an instinctive response, and a lot of our training actually starts with the mind. We said about Ilan working on her mind. What we try and do is we put pre-programmed, learned responses in there, and we do that by simulating real combat, as you saw on the video. We put someone in a situation where they have no idea they're going to be attacked, and we attack them. And they have to fight their way out of it. So that
young man on the video, he didn't know?
No idea.
Oh my gosh, that's even scarier.
He'd just been through some training, and we were interviewing him at the end of it to say what was hard about it and what he liked about it, and then he got attacked.
Oh my God.
And
he handled it really well, didn't he?
There you go. So those instinctive techniques have now come out. But what happened, what you didn't see is about 4 weeks earlier, he was attacked, and he ended up curling up in a ball, and when he came out of it, he was sobbing.
Wow.
But by the end of it, once we've done it again and again, they become desensitized to being attacked. And that feeling of helplessness is replaced with ferocity and anger.
Everyone should do this, should they?
I think so.
Yeah. How long have I got till break? Sorry, so Bianca's trying to talk to me. And I should be in a break. Sorry, I was getting into the conversation. All right, let's go to a quick break, and then we'll go straight into some moves after this. So join us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, let's go straight over to Reece and Laurence. Take it away, guys.
Hello, right. So Laurence, what would you do in a self-defense situation if somebody grabbed hold of your wrist, for example?
Okay. Traditional wrist grab breakaway is turn to the weak part of the grip, which would be the thumb, not the fingers, the thumb. That's your weak part. So you're turning your wrist into it, break out. That's you free, right? But
so this is the sort of thing you get taught in traditional self-defense. Okay, so I'm a real attacker. I'm just going to grab your wrist. Okay, so we're going to do that defense again. Well, that didn't work very well, did it?
Not at all. That was, you're right, Laurence.
Yeah, good. Oh, good.
You see, this is the point. A real attack is not about someone grabbing your wrist like that. If they're going to attack you, they are going to attack you. Yeah. So to survive that, none of these flowery techniques are going to work. Yeah. What you've got to do is learn to cover and not get hit. Okay. Now, something I'm going to demonstrate actually. Can I borrow you, Chrissy?
Oh God. Okay. I'm not going to get hit across the head with that.
No, no, no. Well, yeah, right. but no. Don't worry. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Okay. All right.
When you cover up, okay, a lot of people will teach you to cover like this. Laurence, if you cover like that, what happens? You hit yourself in the head. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What happens if you cover like this and put your hands against your head? Ouch. The shock wave goes through your head. What you do is very simply put your own fingertips on top of your head, nice and firm, and what it does is it's like a natural shock absorber. Oh. So when you do this, that give attenuates all of that force. And you close your elbows up and you create a ball and you move like this. Okay. So, on Laurence again, if I did the same thing, now you see what happened before he was destroyed. Yeah. And I only had one hand on it as well. So with one hand, he was destroyed. So when it happens again,
the other way.
Not one punch got through.
No.
Okay? Because he learned to cover. Yeah. And that's all about survival. But that, I mean, I know it probably looks quite brutal, but that's what a real attack is like. Yeah. It's not like I'm going to punch like this, I'm going to block like this.
Yeah, obviously we've all seen those, haven't
we? That. It's not like that. That's the harsh reality of a real attack, okay? Yeah. Now, once you've learned to effectively block, what you've then got to do, if you imagine those punches are coming in, they're coming in, what you have to do is get to a safe position. One of the safest positions is here, like that, okay? Now, what's called the dead side. Laurence, can you hit me with the other hand? Nope. Nope. Can you knee me in the, what's this? Nope. And it takes absolutely no strength at all to maintain this hold, okay? Chrissy. So what you're going to do, we're going to start, just have your hands here for now. What you're going to do is very quickly duck under that arm and push this one up. At the same time, grab here, link up with this one, put your head against his head and squeeze, okay? Maintain a good stance, squeeze hard, maintain a good stance, Laurence, struggle for a little bit.
I can do this in heels as well, right?
Yeah, keep hold, okay? Okay. There you go, and release.
I've locked my fingers, is that all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, all right.
So, what you've now done, what you've done, you made it up, you improvised. You've blocked and covered and survived that initial attack. Okay. And then you move into a safe position, which is this position. And next, what you're going to do is assess. Because now you can look around. Is there anyone else attacking? No, okay. What I'm going to do is take him down, ground him, maybe put one of those in, and I'm going to escape.
With the heels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, you're going to do one as well. Fine.
So that is a basic sort of technique, okay? Other thing, what happens quite often in a situation when punches are flying is you end up in this position. And someone will be getting you in a headlock, okay? All you do is a hand here, pull the head back, down onto the ground, pressure on the head. You're also on the dead side. Laurence, can you hit me?
Not at all.
Can you come towards me? Nope, because my knees are blocking. The only thing you can do is go away. I'm happy with that. Put one of them in and out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do that. Who wants to be...
Okay, I guess it's me then.
Watch the earrings, watch the earrings. Okay, so what he's going to do is going to get you in a headlock, okay?
Cool. Right.
Like this. Very simply, what you're going to do is bring this hand up.
Yeah.
You are going to just hit him in the face. Bring his head back. Yeah. Force him down to the ground. Keep pressure on his head. Yeah. There you go.
That was a cheap shot.
A little delicate kick there.
But these are all techniques that are based on big, gross motor movements, not intricate motor movements, and they will work in a real situation, pressure tested. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, definitely. Okay. Show us a few more. Have we got a bit more time? Let's see how long we've got. Right, we've got a few minutes. So is there anything else you can show us or show the viewers? 5 minutes we've got.
Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind, again, I don't want to be non-politically correct, but if you're a victim, you tend to be singled out because you're weak. Yeah. So there's no point in, if you're weak and you've been selected, there's no point in you trying to learn how to punch hard, because you're not really going to be able to punch hard. It's not going to hurt anybody. If you start to do this, which is what you see in the movies, you probably make him angry. It won't stop anybody. Okay. What you've got to think is, I'm a fairly big guy, and I'm quite strong. So what can you do to me that's going to hurt me? People think of this.
Yeah.
There's two things I would say. Throats, I can't do anything to build this up. And even if you just get a little tap.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Yeah.
I really hate that. I kind of wear polo necks sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely horrible. So here on a guy is a place to strike, or the eyes. Now, the beauty of women is you tend to have nails. Okay, so what I would say is rather than fight to get someone off of you, if someone's grabbing you, let them grab you, okay? Bring them in close, because they will have his eye out, okay? Simple as that. And that's what you need to do, because it doesn't matter how big and strong the guy is, if you take his eye, he no longer wants to do anything to you. And it sounds brutal, and it's not the sort of stuff we teach the kids.
That's what you're saying, isn't it? Because it's not, you're not going to get attacked in a
nice way.
A nice way, exactly.
Excuse me, madam, would you mind if I take you off?
Are you ready for the moves?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't happen like that. So you've got to be that brutal. So rather than pushing them off, because the problem is with that is if you're pushing them off, they can then get the leverage to throw a punch, and then it's lights out. You're going to wake up dead. No one wants to wake up dead.
We know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Okay, so don't push them off. Pull them on, because once you've got them here, they haven't then got the leverage to hit you anymore. And then you can get in there, or you can bite.
And they won't be expecting that as well, will they?
Absolutely.
Not at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Knives, the final thing I'll show you is knives. Now this is, again, with knives, you've either got a slash to worry about or a stab to worry about. Right. And statistically, it's the stab that's done. And this is the one that's going to kill people. You can get slashed, it's going to cut you, you're going to bleed, but you're not going to die. It's that stab that's going to kill you. Okay, and it kills you because it goes into your heart or your lungs. Okay, so this area is the bit to really, really protect. So the first thing to do if someone's got a knife is stand sideways on, because you make yourself a smaller target. Okay, but what you've also got to think is as that knife comes in, just in slow motion, this is quite small. If I start to try and catch it, that's quite small too. I could miss and I'm dead. So I've got to try and block it with the biggest target. And if I do this, that's a full width target. So as that knife comes in, and I block like this, I'm going to make sure I block it, okay? From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate and move round to here. That is now taking the knife to his back, to this position, and that is actually very painful, okay? And then that's when the good biomechanics that we talked about earlier, i.e. coming toward the thumb, actually count. And what you do, take hold of that knife on the blade, it doesn't matter. So what if you get a cut hand? As long as you don't skiff it, you're not going to get a deep cut, okay? So you take it hard and you pull that toward the thumb, okay? You've now got the knife. I'm not going to say what you should do with that knife. It's not for me to say.
You should run with it.
You've now got it. If you push them off, you've now got the knife.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So again, just going to do that again as it comes in. And he's down, and I've got the knife. Okay.
Cool. I want to see more, but we've actually run out of time. Guys, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
It's a pleasure.
So I hope everyone has, where's my camera? This one? Okay, I hope everyone now has got some, some bit of knowledge behind you now. It's not pretty.
Nope.
But attacks aren't pretty, so we have to be prepared for anything, right? All right. All right, so thank you so much. Lisa, thanks for joining us as well. And also, we're going to go to... No, actually, we finished the show now. See, I'm all confused now. It's Friday, isn't it? It's all the martial arts and stuff we've been doing. But on Monday, we're going to have a show about miserable Britons. So we're going to find out why the Brits sometimes are so depressed and sad all the time and why they don't smile enough. So we're going to be talking about that. But do have a wonderful weekend in the meantime. And please stay safe. Bye-bye for now.
But yeah, nothing special really.
Okay, next question. All right then, so next one, yeah? One more. Okay.
Next question.
Okay. Yeah? When you finished?
Yeah. Fair enough. Woo! Daniel, no, we've got like one more question.
Okay, so let's go and have a chat to them.
Let's go.
Find out the truth. That was stupid, I didn't need to do that.